Welcome back to another episode on the MLD Balls page. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the cheapest team in the NBA, the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the cheapest team in the NBA today. So before we talk about the actual team, let's talk about the front office real quick and how they've let KCP, Bruce Brown, and these valuable pieces on the Nuggets go. With KCP, they at least tried to clear up some salary space, removing Reggie Jackson from the team. That's cool. At least you tried. But hey, at some point, you got to look at your roster and say, hey, we got the best player in the world. We should buy in, because if you aren't going to buy in while you have the best player in the world on your team, when are you going to buy in? I understand it's hard to be a small market team and have a player that is able to contend every single season, but at least try. At least try, and at least the money shouldn't be what you're looking at. I understand it's a business, but like you said, it's a business. So you have to invest in people. And if you aren't willing to invest in the best player in the world, what are you willing to invest in basketball? Because basketball is one of the few sports. If you have a 3-time MVP on your team, he could literally drag you to a conference finals by himself. Like at that point, just get him some players around him. KCP was a great fit, and now that's gone. Unfortunate. KCP, though, I'll admit, in the playoffs, his shooting was a real thing. He wasn't the same shooter that he would be in the regular season. He's still a great defender. And Christian Braun, I'm not too scared about him replacing KCP, believe it or not. But it's the backup shooting guard spot, and hopefully the Denver Nuggets could figure something out with that in the regular season. I don't know what they do, but man, they replaced Reggie Jackson already with Russell Westbrook with their biggest news of the offseason, which is my second biggest news of the offseason for them. We'll talk about that on the next slide, but let's talk about their starters. I mentioned Christian Braun. He's going to replace KCP, and he plays a similar role to KCP. He's just the worst version, but this could be a good thing for the Nuggets because he is a younger player, cheaper, and he's a nice shooter, and we can see if his 3-point shot converts in the playoffs better than a KCP, because like I'm saying, KCP shot in the playoffs, it did disappear a little bit, not gonna lie. But KCP gone in, we got Christian Braun. Not the worst world. I'll admit it's not the worst world. But we got Jamal Murray at point guard. We already know who Bubble Murray is. He hasn't been playing all that well in Canada, but that boy, even even when he was playing bad in that Lakers series, he was able to close games. But I remember watching that Lakers series. Like, if you're this close with the Lakers, I don't like how y'all are as a team. But I was they had Anthony Davis. He's one of the only guys that could even mess around with Jokic, but I guess I'll let it slide. But how bad y'all was playing against the Los Angeles Lakers, and you're gonna lose pieces this all season, it's a scary thing for me as a basketball watcher, because the Denver Nuggets are usually a team that I just stamp in at the number 1 seed when I'm just doing my regular season predictions. I don't think it's gonna be like that anymore. I wonder, when I'm done doing all of these videos, when I'm done talking about all these teams, where I land on the Denver Nuggets. Because for me right now, I'm all around with them. Because like I'm saying, I'm calling them a cheap ass team because they are, and then I'm saying like the addition of Christian Braun in the starting lineup isn't even the worst thing. So it's like I don't really know how I feel about this roster yet. Michael Porter Jr., he's a great player. He's a plug and play fit at the small forward position. Every single team would like Michael Porter Jr., but his contract is the issue. That's kind of why the Denver Nuggets want to move on from MPJ, because a lot of teams don't want the salary cap, but the ideal of the player is amazing. Michael Porter, he can play next to anyone at any time. Just, is he gonna get paid more than them? Like, are we trying to pay Michael Porter Jr. more than our second best player? Michael Porter gets paid a lot of money. That's the issue with him. And moving on from him has been something I've been thinking about for the Denver Nuggets, because You got to let one of these guys go. And Jamal Murray, I think he's a staple. Jokic, we don't even got to talk about that. Aaron Gordon, I think he's more valuable to the Nuggets than Michael Porter Jr. because of the salary he makes, the amount of defense he provides next to those two offensive players. And you can trade Michael Porter for some defense. You know, Christian Braun, he's a pretty good shooter. I just think that the Denver Nuggets need a little more defense in their starting lineup or in their rotation, because this rotation is, I understand Mike Malone is one of those guys that he has a small rotation and he doesn't really care to, go deep into the bench. But this team is legitimately like 8-man deep. I understand when they won the finals, they were 8-man deep that year too. But like, this is like a real like 8-man deep, man, because Daron Holmes, I'm pretty sure they were gonna ask a lot of out of him in his rookie year. And I think they would have been right to do that. I did think that Daron Holmes would have been one of those guys who came in day one as an instant impact. But only way he wouldn't have been is if what happened happened. And unfortunately, it happened. And it already shows you why they should have spent a little more money and got real depth. But yeah, this team is looking like that Phoenix Suns depth from last season. You remember everybody was going into the season talking about, yeah, the Phoenix Suns got depth, bro. Yeah, the Nuggets got depth, bro. Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, and Dario Saric. Like, that's literally their entire depth. Like, this, I watch a lot of NBA games. I'm seeing guys who I don't even know the names of. I'm not even like playing around. Like, I watch a lot of NBA games, and that's just disappointing for me as a basketball fan, seeing that the best player on the world, I don't know the names of half the people at the end of his roster. And like I say, I am a basketball fanatic, so like that's tough. I don't even know these guys. The rotations that they will go to, they'd have Russell Westbrook probably playing alongside Jamal Murray with Nikola Jokic, which would be a cool lineup. You'd have Russell Westbrook just, I don't even know. He would play that Bruce Brown role, but he's not as good of a shooter. Russell Westbrook at this point of his career, if he's not shooting a layup or a dunk, he's very ineffective. I'm not gonna lie, but he's still going to give you rim pressure and good driving kicks. That's all Westbrook is. Defense is overrated. He's a good defender. He has a high motor, but that doesn't make him a good defender, you know. But he does try on that side of the ball, which is a good thing effort wise, because it influences your teammates to play defense also. So that's a good thing with Russell Westbrook, that he is always active on the defensive end, but he's not all that on defense. And then the second unit, you could go to lineups where you have Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson holding it down together with Jamal Murray cooking. You know, maybe these lineups in how Mike Malone uses his rotation, I'm going to be interested in seeing, because I do think Mike Malone is one of the better coaches in the NBA. If the Denver Nuggets are a high seed this season, I really got to give him some Coach of the Year love, because the way that I'm looking at this roster and how bad it is, if Mike Malone gets this team to a high seed, I'll give him some Coach of the Year love. Even though he has the best player in the world, I'm gonna still give him some Coach of the Year love, because holy, this roster is cooked, man. This roster is actually bad. It's not bad. It has a look. They have a great starting lineup, and then I like Dario Saric. I think Dario Saric fits this team perfectly. So at least they came out this offseason with him. He's gonna be a big forward who could play make a little bit as a hub. He could shoot the ball well. He even played in Golden State Warriors advanced ass system that is very hard for players to, understand. And he's one of the guys who understood it. He's a very smart player. Him and Jokic, they foreigners. So, they're going to have that connection a little easier than others. So, good thing to have in the locker room for Nikola Jokic. Good thing to have on the court for Nikola Jokic. Good person to have on the team for the Denver Nuggets. So this Dario Saric signing was amazing. Think that he's going to impact from the 3 to the 5. Honestly, he could. I wouldn't put him at the 3 personally, but 4 and 5, Dario Saric could impact your team. Peyton Watson could impact your team on the defensive end. Like he doesn't shoot the ball all that well, but on the defensive end, throwing lobs to him, he's a mini Aaron Gordon, which isn't the worst thing to have, because Aaron Gordon next to Nikola Jokic is a great thing to have. So a mini Aaron Gordon isn't bad at all. That's all I could talk about with this team. Julian Strother, he started off the season shooting well, but it ended bad. Gritty defender. Maybe you got something in Julian Strother. If you do got something in him, that's a big green flag. Julian, like the fact that I'm looking at Julian Strother as the guy who I'm looking at the make an impact for this team is kind of the red flag in itself. But if someone does make me look at this Denver Nuggets team, it's Julian Strother, because Hunter Tyson, I don't, to be honest, I tried to look up who he was. I don't know you. Trey Alexander, I don't know you. Jalen Pickett, I don't know you. Vlatko Konkar, I don't know you. DeAndre Jordan is going to be a guy who, whenever somebody's hurt, he'll come in and play some good minutes for the Denver Nuggets, but he's mainly there to be a locker room guy at this point. He's on his Udonis Haslam era, but DeAndre Jordan isn't all that bad. And like I said with Deron Holmes, I would have been, I could you not, I would have been on this video preaching that the Denver Nuggets are still contenders if they had Deron Holmes. I looked at Deron Holmes, that like instant impact, like Deron Holmes, I was pretty high on. So let's talk about Deron Holmes. He's a great rebounder, great defender, great hustle guy, super athletic. He's a good lob threat. He's a good screen setter. He's a good roamer on the defensive end of the ball. He's a versatile defender, and he's been developing his three-point shot, which has actually looked pretty good. And I'm actually shocked by that, because going into this college season, he wasn't that three-point shooter, but I didn't know that he worked on it a lot during the last season that he played at Dayton. And in the summer league, his first game, he shot 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. That was kind of lit. I was like, okay, Deron Holmes, he's been adding that to his game, and his offensive upside may be in question, but he has a floor that I'm in love with, and I think the Denver Nuggets seen that same floor. And the only thing that could have hurt him in the year one was health, and that's what happened. He tore his Achilles, I believe. He's out for the year. That is a devastating blow, because this is a guy who, like Jared Vanderbilt, I look at him like Marcus Smart. How Marcus Smart is at a point guard position. I would have looked at Deron Holmes as the same kind of thing as a power forward and center, though. Kenneth Reed, maybe not as good of a rebounder, but a better defender. Like that's a good thing to have, Nuggets fan. Yeah, I know y'all miss Kenneth Reed and Jonathan Isaac. That was the type of realm of players I was looking at Deron Holmes at. And look, that is exactly what the Nuggets needed, because if they would have been able to have a backup lineup where they have Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, and Deron Holmes, it all makes more sense. The whole team makes more sense with Deron Holmes. It seems like their final plug-in piece, their chess move, and why they traded for Deron Holmes is because he was going to be the guy that completes their roster. And I think asking all of that out of a rookie was already your first mistake. And he got hurt, and as a rookie, he could have came in and not played well. So, like, looking at him as your final piece was actually just irresponsible, not something you should do. And when you have the best player in the world, I think getting a floor of free agents is very important, because at Deron Holmes' rate, he would have just been some guy who we only look at him like a positive. If they could have went and got I don't know, JaVale McGee. Like, nah. All right, I said JaVale McGee's name in the Suns video. This is not the world he should be in for the Nuggets. But somebody, man, just get a body, bro. Like, look at the reserves they have: Hunter Tyson, Trey Alexander. Like, I literally could go into NBA free agency 2024 available players and find somebody, man. Like, you telling me y'all couldn't have got? Didn't Andre Drummond sign for a minimum, man? Like, y'all could have not shot a shot at that, bro. I don't know. Patrick Beverly, like, I would have preferred him over Westbrook. I understand he's suspended probably for the first couple games, but who cares? Y'all are a championship team. Oh man, are they a team that should give Imani Bates a shot at this point? I mean, why not? Y'all are bad. Jamal Cain is someone I liked off the Heat. Could have hit up Jamal Cain. I don't know, Robert Covington, Jay Crowder. There are actual people that are better than some of these. I can't even say if they're better or not. I don't even know who these guys are on their team. Maybe they could bring back Justin Holiday, please. Like this team is actually. I'm disappointed with the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets fans, I know y'all probably feel the same because this is a team that legit has a championship upside, and they're probably going to be on the other end of that upside. But like I said, Deron Holmes, a great player. Love him coming out of Dayton and athletic freak. And hopefully he could come back healthy, stay strong. And that will be it for me. Sorry, Denver Nuggets fans, that this is a more negative video, I feel like, but it's a video talking about your team. So, upside of this team, championship, of course. Do I see them doing that? No, not with the way that this roster is currently built, at least. And this is gonna be one of the first times I'm out on the Denver Nuggets. So yeah, shout out to Mike Malone if he could do this again, because great coach right there, underrated coach. Shout out to Nikola Jokic, he's the best player in the world. Shout out to Jamal Murray, hope he could bounce back next season. And that'll be it for me. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm currently at 149 subscribers. So a like, comment, subscribe would be very much appreciated. And yeah, that'll be it for me. And have a nice day. God bless.